Hello, my name is Paul Henry, Security and Forensic Analyst with Lumension Security. Welcome to our Patch Tuesday update for December 2000. It's a Black Friday for online shoppers. IT administrators could be facing their very own Black Patch Tuesday as Microsoft gears up to release a total of 8 security bulletins this month, 6 of which are deemed critical and the other 2 are rated as important. All of them may in fact require a restart, making this a very disruptive Patch Tuesday. One of the fixes involves an 8-month-old privilege escalation vulnerability in XP, Vista 2003 and 2008, that has exploit code reportedly already available in the wild. Now, when used in combination with a vulnerability that could allow remote code execution, it could effectively allow the bad guys to run exploits at a higher level of privilege, potentially making this a much more serious issue. With Microsoft releasing 8 patches today, that brings our total for the year to 77. Well below the record set in 2000 with 100, but more than last year's release of 69 and nearly on par with the 78 released back in 2006. The patches released today, they block remote code execution in Windows, Office, Internet Explorer, and Visual Basic. Specifically, they correct vulnerabilities that have been identified in the following software. Windows 2000 Service Pack 4, Windows XP Service Pack 2 and 3, Windows Server 2003 Service Pack 1 and 2, Windows Server 2008, Microsoft Windows Vista and Vista Service Pack 1, Microsoft Office 2003 with Service Pack 3, as well as Microsoft Office 2007. As noted earlier, 6 of the 8 patches are critical, 2 of them are important. All of them may in fact require a restart. Running through them very quickly, MS-08-073 Cumulative Security Update for Internet Explorer. It is critical, may require a restart, and carries an exploitability index of 1. Another issue here with respect to IE and this month's Patch Tuesday. Just 2 days ago, a Chinese blog site noted the discovery in the wild of a vulnerability that impacts Internet Explorer. It's not clear in the text of the bulletin that was released today if in fact this vulnerability has been handled with Patch Tuesday's patches. The vulnerability takes advantage of an XML issue. It impacts directly Windows XP as well as Server 2003. The exploit allows a malicious website to be created. When a user visits the website, JavaScript would run the exploit, take advantage of the XML vulnerability, and drop code onto the user's PC. That code would then in turn go out on the public internet and download additional exploit code. As with most other web-borne malware today, it effectively can turn your PC into a spam-spewing botnet or install a keylogger to harvest your credentials. Again, we are not certain whether or not the patch for MS-08-073 takes care of this XML issue that has recently been reported to have been seen in the wild. MS-08-070, Vulnerabilities in Visual Basic 6.0 Runtime Extended Files, ActiveX. Could allow remote code execution, has been marked as critical, may require a restart, and carries an exploitability index of 1. MS-08-072, Vulnerabilities in Microsoft Word, could allow remote code execution. It's critical, may require a restart, carries an exploitability index of 1. This year we've seen a large number of PDF files that were in fact crafted to contain payload. If you simply clicked on that PDF file, you effectively created a backdoor channel for the bad guys into your network. This vulnerability in Microsoft Office Word could in fact provide that same capability to a malicious hacker. MS-08-074, Vulnerabilities in Microsoft Office Excel, could allow remote code execution. It's critical, may require a restart, carries an exploitability index of 1. And just like the previously mentioned vulnerabilities in Microsoft Office Word, this would allow you to create a specially crafted Excel file that could allow a back channel to be created for the bad guys into your network simply by clicking on an infected Microsoft Office Excel document. MS-08-077, Vulnerability in Microsoft Office SharePoint Server. It could cause an elevation of privilege. Now, Microsoft has only marked this as important. I personally consider any exploit that can provide for an escalation of privilege as being critical because it can be used in combination with other exploits to wreak havoc within your network. Again, they've tagged it as important. It does require a restart, and it carries an exploitability index of 1. MS-08076 takes care of vulnerabilities in Windows Media Center components, could allow remote code execution. It's been marked as important, but may require a restart, and carries an exploitability index of 1. In previous issues with Windows Media Components, the GDI issues we had in the recent past, we had our JPEGs of death. You could embed malicious code within a JPEG whereby you post the JPEG on a website. If one of your users, if a user clicked on that JPEG, it would immediately create a back channel from the public internet into your network. There's no single patch you can prioritize in this month's Patch Tuesday. They're all critically important in my opinion, including the SharePoint issue as it affords an escalation of privilege. The only saving grace is that most of these are client-side exploits. Hence, they're not necessarily going to have a major impact on major e-commerce vendors during this holiday shopping season. But otherwise, this is going to consume a large amount of time for those responsible for applying security patches in an already busy time of the year. While it might be tempting to avoid restarting the servers and systems, especially at this time of year, it is imperative that IT professionals pay particular attention to the critical updates and patch as quickly as business conditions permit. The update for Internet Explorer is also another critical update that'll be interesting to watch as it affects all commonly deployed versions of IE, including IE7. Also, the word bulletin is something people should be on the lookout for, as this could impact Office Outlook 2007, one of the most commonly used email clients by business today. In particular, it could pose challenges for organizations that use Microsoft Word as their email editor within Outlook. If exploits appear that attack this vulnerability, we recommend immediately disabling Word as the Outlook email editor until your organization has deployed the patch. Other non-Microsoft considerations this Patch Tuesday include the new Day Zero vulnerability discovered in IE7 that's currently been found in the wild in China. As with other web-borne malware threats, the downloaded malware can easily convert the user's PC into a spam-sending bot or install a keylogger to harvest the user's banking credentials. If you're not using whitelisting application control, your only mitigation is to enable the Data Execution Protection, DEP, a feature released in Windows XP Service Pack 2 to afford risk mitigation while waiting to apply a patch from Microsoft. VoIP is also actively under attack. The FBI is reporting that the bad guys are taking advantage of vulnerabilities in Asterisk to steal VoIP minutes by directly calling potential victims. It's also being used in phishing scams where the bad guys send out an email to trick the user into calling a compromised VoIP server, and then acting as a fake calling center, they would use social engineering tactics to try to get the user, or the caller I should say, to divulge account information. Your best defense is comprehensive patch management to prevent the bad guys from gaining a foothold in your network that would allow the use of your VoIP server. The Facebook worm continues to be an issue. The worm that has been getting Facebook users to click on a fake video codec since back in July has come back with a vengeance. This latest variant actually uses Facebook's own features against them. This latest variant actually uses Facebook's feature that redirects users to a website outside of Facebook. Unfortunately, it allows Facebook's own filtering software to be bypassed because the malware resides on a website that you're being redirected to, and that website is outside the realm of protection afforded by the filtering software that is used when you're on the Facebook website itself. Is it realistic in this environment if what appears to be a legitimate update is malicious or not? Application control is your best defense, as it would prevent a fake video codec from running in the first place.